Looking back, this is very messed up, you know. I just had such a strong mindset and wrong mindset, and I'm probably gonna start crying now because this was like a really hard time of my life and no one knew this. What's going on, beautiful people? Today I have a different type of video. I'm finally gonna tell you my transformation story. I've been thinking about doing this video for a while now, but I never had the courage to sit down and turn my camera on because it's so hard to talk about yourself, especially when English is not your first language. So please try to be patient. My story is very long because I always, since I remember, had self-love issues. I always had problems with my body, and let's start with that because, to be honest, I don't even know where to start. So let's start when I was in 8th grade. I was never a skinny girl. I always had my curves. I was kind of thick, you know. 8th grade was when I started gaining weight, and I think was because I was eating a lot and I stopped doing sports. Before 8th grade, I used to be in the volleyball team. I used to do skating, be in hip hop classes. Like, I used to do all of that stuff, and then I stopped doing that stuff, and I didn't stop like eating what I was eating. I was eating the same and I wasn't working out. After school, when I was like in 8th, 9th grade, I would get home. This was every day after school, and I would have a Chips Ahoy package, a whole Chips Ahoy package with milk. That was my lunch every day after school. I didn't even know why I was gaining weight. Maybe it was because of the Chips Ahoy stuff and the heavy dinners. My mom always made pasta for me. I love pasta. So for dinner, sometimes I had pasta, other days I had pizza, other days I had pancakes because I always loved pancakes since I was little. So that was my dinner, and then after school I was eating an entire Chips Ahoy package with milk, a liter of milk. I'm not gonna lie, I used to love milk with cookies, and now I don't even drink milk, just cashew milk. Things changed so much, but anyway, my nutrition was crap. I was feeling like crap. I was gaining so much weight, but I never realized until my jeans stopped fitting. Even though I was very like self-aware of how I looked, I didn't want to believe that I was gaining weight. So when my jeans stopped fitting, that was like a big open eyes. In my head, I was just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm getting so fat, what I'm gonna do? And this is what I did. After I heard a friend saying, he didn't even know that I was listening to him, but he was talking with a friend about me, and I was passing by. This was at school when I was like in 9th grade, I don't even know. So I was leaving school, I was walking to my mom's car, and this friend told to his friend, look at that girl, look at that bakery, she really needs to lose weight. She used to be so hot, now look at her. Something like that. I went home and I cried so much, and I was like, tomorrow I need to start a diet. In my head, I didn't even know what was a diet like. So I stopped eating, and I'm gonna try not to cry because looking back, this is very messed up, you know. I really had a big problem, so I stopped eating for an entire week. Looking back, I just think this is insane. I could never do that nowadays. And I just had such a strong mindset and wrong mindset. In a week I lost like 10 kilos, which is like 20 pounds, which is insane. And I was like so happy but so miserable at the same time because my brain didn't even function, you know. After that week of starving myself and only drinking water, I remember that I was so hungry. So when I started eating again, I wanted to eat everything. Pasta, pizza, pancakes, everything, and that's what I did. So I gained even more weight than the weight that I lost. So once again, everyone at school was talking about me because I used to live in a small island where everyone used to know each other. So that was very hard for me because I felt very judged. Once again, everyone was talking about me, saying, oh my gosh, she was losing so much weight, now she's putting all the weight back, she's getting so fat again, she will never be hot like she was again. And that used to hurt me so much. And I remember thinking, all my friends are perfect, they don't have any stretch marks, they don't have any cellulite, why me? I really need to change my diet. So that's what I did. I started packing my lunch for school, and you guys have no idea what I started packing for school. And no one could know because I was so ashamed of this. Until today, no one knows. No one of my friends knows this, only Kevin. And I'm probably gonna start crying now because this was like a really hard time of my life and no one knew this. Every day for school, I would pack cereal. I would skip my breakfast, and the only thing that I had through the entire day, and I did this like probably for a year, I would have cereal for lunch at school. I would skip breakfast. In the middle of the afternoon, I would have a tuna sandwich. Only half of a tuna sandwich. And then at night, if I would feel hungry again, I would have like the other half. I used to be so happy that my dad used to work until 8 p.m. because he wasn't home to have dinner, because my dad was very strict. So when he was home, like around 6:30 p.m., we would have dinner together. And I used to hate that because he used to tell me, Steph, you need to eat, you're not eating nothing. And I used to hate that. I would wish that my dad wouldn't get home before 8 p.m. And I would tell him, oh yes, I did have some pasta, I did have this or that. My mom was very open-minded, so if I would tell her, Mom, I just ate at a friend's house, or Mom, I just made some pasta, she would believe in me. That's how I survived the entire year without eating anything else besides cereal, tuna sandwiches, and sometimes soup. The days that I didn't have an option and I had to eat at my grandmother's house, or my dad would get home before 8, or it was a Sunday night and we would have dinner all together, I would just play with my food, and I would take a while to eat the food that I was in a plate, and I would let everyone finish before me, because that way they would start cleaning their plates, and I would give the food to my dog that was under the table. It used to happen all the time, and like no one knew, no one realized. And I remember my dad getting a bit pissed off because I wasn't eating too much and things like that, but I would just tell him, oh Dad, I just finished eating. He was realizing, and my mom too, that I was losing a bunch of weight. Fast forward, when I went to 10th grade, I lost a bunch of weight. So suddenly I went from being the girl that I was gaining weight to the girl that was getting skinny, and please Steph, you need to put some weight on. So people, first they thought that I was getting too fat, and then people started thinking that I was getting too skinny. And that just shows that people are never happy no matter what you do. For example, I know that some people will watch this video and will think, what the what this girl is doing, and I know some people will watch this video and will be happy for me and will find this video helpful. So you cannot please everyone, and that's something that I've been learning. Sometimes it still upsets me when I get rude comments or things like that, but I need to learn that this is what you get from putting yourself out there, and you cannot make everyone happy. So I started losing a bunch of weight. I was getting so happy. I was looking in the mirror and I was like, yes, gotta keep going. I was losing all this weight, but the cellulite was there still. A lot of cellulite. It was there because I was losing weight so fast and I wasn't exercising. So one day I had this brilliant idea. I'm gonna go and get my first gym membership, and that's what I did. And like I said, I used to live in a really small island. There was only one gym for the entire island, and this gym was like 1 hour away if I would take the bus from school. 3 times a week after school I would take the bus, I would go to the gym, and I would kill myself. Keep in mind that the only thing that I had before the gym was cereal, because I didn't have any breakfast, and for lunch I would have cereal. I used to hate going to the gym. I used to hate every workout, and I would follow a workout that the personal trainers there at the gym gave to me, and it would be like legs 3 times a week. Now that I'm a personal trainer, I don't even understand what type of workout is that. Like every time that I would go to the gym, I would start with a 15-minute warm-up running on the treadmill, and then I would do every leg machine at the gym. That was my workout when I was like 16 years old, and then I would do tons of ab exercises that I searched on Google. And I remember that at that point I started seeing like a flat stomach, and I started seeing a little bit of abs, and I was just so happy because I was really so skinny. At this time I was probably weighing less than 50 kilos, which it never happened in my entire life. Probably this video is already getting too long, I'm so sorry. So I went for 3 months or 4 months straight, 3 times a week, and then I stopped going because I had no energy every time that I would get to the gym. I remember even when I was running for 15 minutes, sometimes I had to stop because I was feeling so dizzy. I wasn't eating anything, and no one would know because I wouldn't tell anyone. That's so stupid. If you have a problem, please share it with your friends or with someone that you know it will understand you and will not judge you. I was 16 years old, and something happened really bad when I was 16 years old that made me feel like shit, and I didn't really wanted to work out or do nothing. When I was 16 years old, my mom was diagnosed. She was diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer. It was really hard times, you know, because it's my mom is the person that I love the most, and it was really hard to see her going through all of that because she's such a strong, positive woman. It was really hard to see her that down. On top of that, when she had cancer, my dad left her. Those were the hardest moments of my life. I really struggled hard, so it was really hard for me. I was getting a lot of questions about my parents, about my mom, and people would make stories. I felt like all my friends were like living their best lives, partying and stuff, and I couldn't do it because I would just feel so sad. My parents and divorce was really tough. I was there through all of that, and I remember my parents would tell things to me to tell to each other because they stopped talking. It really messed me up. If you're a parent and you're watching this, never put your kids in the middle of your divorce or your relationship because they don't deserve that. I remember that my grades in school started being horrible. I used to hate going to school. I started having a little bit of anxiety. I was very alone, confused, frustrated, and I would be like, what did I did to deserve this? I had all of these problems inside of my head that I didn't need to because I was just 16 years old. I was just a kid. I should be focusing on school, but I wasn't focusing on school. I was focusing on my parents' divorce and on the fact that my mom had cancer. I don't even want to say any more about this because it was a really hard period of my life. I tried to look at the positive side. I tried to look at how much I grew from it because I did grow a lot when my mom had cancer and my parents got divorced. Moving forward, my mom started getting better. Her treatments always went well, thank God. My relationship with my dad was getting better. Things with my mom started getting better, so my life was finally starting to get better, even though my cellulite was still there. Now that my dad wasn't living with us, I felt like I was free. I felt like I had freedom because my mom, she's a really cool mom, and she always let me learn with my mistakes. So this summer, I went out every night, and this was a summer that I started smoking weed, and I started smoking tobacco. I started drinking a lot of alcohol. In Portugal, you can start drinking alcohol. In Europe with 16 years old. So this was the summer that I actually started dating Kevin. Summer 2012 was that summer that I did everything. At the end of the day, it was a really nice summer, but that was the summer that I started smoking weed also and smoking tobacco. I was really addicted to tobacco, and I started smoking a lot after that summer. So I remember the last year of high school, I was always high and I was always smoking tobacco, which is really bad, and I wasn't running or doing exercise at all. I started getting into a really bad mindset again. As soon as I finished high school, I had no idea what to do. Like, I always wanted to be a journalist or a flight attendant, something related with languages. I wanted to learn new languages and things like that. But as soon as I finished high school, I was like, I have no idea what I want to do. I don't want to be a journalist anymore. I don't want to take languages anymore. I don't know what I want to do. Ended up applying for a tourism program in the mainland because in the island that I used to live, there's no university. So most of the people in the island end up flying to the mainland, and then the island gets empty, which is so sad. I ended up applying to that program, tourism program, and I got in. When I got in, my mom was here in Canada taking care of my grandfather. Dad was really sick. He passed away the year that I started university, and I couldn't come to his funeral because I had exams to do to apply to the university. So it was really hard choosing between coming to my grandfather's funeral and doing my exams and going to university that year, or stay one more year in high school, because if I didn't do the exams, I had to stay one more year in high school. So I ended up missing my grandfather's funeral, and I ended up going to university that year with Kevin, because me and Kevin applied for the same university and we got into the same university. We did everything together since we started dating. So we went to university and I remember hating it. I'm so sorry guys, my camera died, so I had to wait a while to make sure that I have enough battery to conclude this video, and I think I have. I had the chance to spend 2 weeks with my mom before I went to university because my grandfather had already passed away. So my mom flew from Canada to Portugal to spend the last weeks with me before I went to university, and also to take care of my sister's school because she was transferring from Portugal here to Canada. So I was really happy that I had a chance to spend some time with my mom because I spent the whole summer without my mom, and that was really really hard because my mom was there like for everything, and she used to be my best friend. So when I was going through something hard, I always felt like calling my mom when she was here in Canada. Summer 2012 was great, was the best summer of my life, and then summer 2013 was the worst summer of my life. When Kevin wasn't with me, I used to feel so alone because I was living alone. My mom and my sister were here in Canada. My dad wasn't living with me anymore, so I was just with Kevin. When he wasn't there, I used to feel really alone. Then we went to university. I said goodbye to my mom, and I knew she was moving here to Canada, so I had no idea when I was gonna see my mom again. And I think like going to university with that thought in my head changed everything. I went to university feeling really sad and upset, and it was really hard to make friends when I was feeling like that, when I was in that mindset. I started skipping classes. Like I would wake up and I would cry because I would feel so down, and I just wanted to smoke tobacco because I still smoked and smoked weed. So all the friends that I did there, they all did weed because because I was like that, and I was surrounded with people that did the same thing that I did. Like now I do fitness, and I surround myself with people that do fitness. University was a really hard period of my life. I was 3 months there. Kevin wasn't enjoying it either because he was living with me and I was like this, so we both ended up quitting. Then I moved to Pico, and obviously I needed a job. Welcome to the adult life. So since my grandfather has a construction business, I started working there at the company. As I was saying, my relationship with my dad changed a lot after my parents got divorced. When I started working beside my dad, our relationship even got worse because my dad was trying to explain me things and I wouldn't understand. We got mad at each other. My grandfather always wanted me to work there at the company, and he wanted me to be there now. That's why he gave me a house, and I felt so bad when I came here to Canada, but I didn't want that for me. I didn't want that job. I wanted to find myself. I didn't even have discovered my passion for fitness at that time. I would cry all the time because I had no idea what I wanted for my life. I would feel miserable. I just wanted to smoke tobacco, weed. So quitting university and going back to the island, it made me felt like I did something really wrong because I was hating working with my dad, and I was probably even smoking even more, you know. So I was just, Steph, you need to change your life. I knew in order to quit smoking, I needed to find something else, another habit, another hobby. So I started running again, and I have a video about that I will link it down below. I started running and I started smoking less and less. Everything started with running. Nowadays, I'm still searching for that balance, and I will never stop searching. And I know everything was because of those mistakes in the past, because of those crazy diets that I did. So if I could tell something to my 15, 16-year-old me was, Steph, don't diet, live your life, be happy, just have a healthy lifestyle.